Friday Night SmackDown took place in Las Vegas, Nevada tonight, and this was the first of two shows for the WWE Draft of 2019. So the format was a bit different. Usually how these drafts work is you have the two general managers, the Raw GM and the SmackDown GM, and they have like two podiums and they make their selections. Here it was a completely different format. What they did was they basically took the format of an actual draft, like for a real sport, like the NFL. And what they do, and if you watch an NFL draft, each team has a war room. And as the pick is being made, they make their selection. So here they have the USA War Room and the Fox War Room. So USA for Raw, Fox for SmackDown. And each of them have their own selections for each wrestler they want under brand. So they each get 5 picks. Each round is 5 picks. And Raw gets 3, SmackDown gets 2 because Raw is a 3-hour show. And that was a format they would have. I liked this format. I thought it was better. I thought it makes sense. One thing I hated it was if you're watching on Fox, they have these Fox announcers, like these real sports guys talking about wrestling, and these guys look so miserable, so embarrassed, and so disinterested talking about wrestling. It's like, get this off. Get Raw off Fox Sports, or get SmackDown off Fox Sports. It just could make the product look bad. I'm just waiting for someone to say, do we have to talk about this fake sport anymore? That's what they're probably thinking. This is a joke. Get them off. I mean, it's just not going to work. Okay, just keep them off and have SmackDown just on Fox. It's on Big Fox. You even need Fox Sports. It's on Big Fox, but yeah, with the stuff with Fox Sports, it's brutal. It's like so not well. Anyway, here's how we started the show. You had Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins. That's not interesting. I'm not a big fan of either guy. I've just never been a huge Shield. I like the Shield as a unit. I've just never been a huge fan of any of them as singles wrestlers. Roman, Seth, or Moxley, Dean before that. Never really got into them. The match they had I was waiting for it to be over. I was like, all right, I know the Fiend's coming. They're not going to beat Roman Reigns on the second episode of SmackDown. And they're not going to beat Seth Rollins on the right when he's the Universal Champion. He just came off probably the worst match of his career with Bray Wyatt in Hell in a Cell. That match was a fucking abortion. It was fucking trash. It was a human pile of feces. It was disgusting. It was garbage. It was probably one of the worst main events in WWE history. And I think without question, you can't tell me there's a worse Seth Rollins match in WWE than this. I can't think of one. That was by far Seth's worst match of his career. And Bray's, and that sings to me because Bray's had some clunkers, but I think that's probably the worst for Bray too. So, it was a piece of shit and it was a pile of crap. It was a horrible main event. He had Bray attack Seth from under the ring like The Undertaker, and right when he brings him down, it's like, the smoke comes up. So, it's like Halloween. Bray has a Halloween mask. He's coming up from under the ring like a horror movie villain, like Freddy Krueger or someone. That's what he's doing. So, it was fine. It was okay. They had Bray give him the mandible claw and kill Seth again. So, next we go to the Fox War Room. And we have they announced the rules for the draft. You have 30 people eligible to be drafted. Stephanie McMahon comes out. And here's the first round. You have Becky Lynch to Raw. You have Roman Reigns to SmackDown. You have the OC, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, all to Raw. SmackDown gets Bray Wyatt, and Raw gets Drew McIntyre. Okay, bad pick for Raw. But for SmackDown, with Bray, I think that means Seth's probably keeping the belt in Saudi Arabia because I think Seth's for sure staying on Raw with Becky. Next is they go to the panel. No one cares about that. He had Baron Corbin and, face Chad Gable. Shorty Gable, that's his name now. It's what it is. They were setting it up. But before that, they showed Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman is not really the most charismatic guy, but oh my God, he looks so uninterested, so miserable, and so embarrassed talking about wrestling. Oh, that was brutal. Let's keep wrestling away from actual sports. It's not going to work, guys. So Corbin wins. They go to the Fox NFL Sunday panel. You have Tony Gonzalez. You had Terry Bradshaw. They say who their favorite wrestlers was. Terry Bradshaw says his favorite was Dusty Rhodes. Howie says it's Bruno. Michael Strahan says it's Ric Flair. And they also mentioned Andre and Hogan. So that's all who they know. It's like they don't know shit. That's bad. They show second round. Stephanie McMahon's out. Second round. Here we go. Oh, also, I forgot to mention Baron Corbin beat Shorty Gable. Who cares about that? Second round. Randy Orton is going to Raw. Sasha Banks is going to SmackDown. blue hair to the blue brand. Makes sense. Raw gets Ricochet. Bad fit. Ricochet should be better on SmackDown. SmackDown gets Braun Strowman. That's good for Braun. I think that'll help Braun a lot. He has a better chance of, maybe not actually if Brock's going to be there, but I would think, some SmackDown would have been better for Braun. But you know what? SmackDown's the A show now, so maybe Raw would have. But it's a good fresh start for Braun. And Raw gets Bobby Lashley, so I think Raw's clearly the shit show. I mean, getting Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, you're going to make everyone fall asleep. Please don't put Lashley, McIntyre, and Corbin on the same brand again. So they're all happy they got Randy Orton. Renee Young, and all of them, and Renee Young, they talk about Bobby Lashley and Lana. Beth Phoenix is there, Booker T is there, and who's the last guy? Samoa Joe. Yeah, couldn't notice him. But he's doing panels now, I guess. They show Strowman and Fury in the back, so they announce it. Yeah, WWE announced on they have 2 big matches for Crown Jewel. I thought this would have been WrestleMania, but last week's SmackDown was to build up the Crown Jewel, not WrestleMania. The WWE Championship is on the line. Brock Lesnar defends his title against Cain Velasquez, a rematch from their UFC real fight 9 years ago in which Cain Velasquez demolished Brock Lesnar to win the UFC title. I remember watching that fight and I was thinking to myself, holy shit, because Brock was the big favorite. Cain was a name. He was getting knockouts, but I don't think anyone thought he beat Brock because Brock was so much bigger than Cain. I remember the whole thought was, okay, Cain has to get out of the first couple rounds. If the longer the fight goes, it'll favor Cain. But Brock is probably not going to let it end quickly. It's probably not going to let it get past the first couple rounds. And wow, we were wrong. Cain killed Brock. Anyway, Paul Heyman's putting over Cain and talking about how he destroyed Brock Lesnar and Brock has that scar. Rey Mysterio comes out and Rey's going to be Heyman for Cain, which is a horrible decision. Cain Velasquez now cannot speak English. He can only speak Spanish. Why? Cain speaks English fine. He doesn't even have a Spanish accent. He was born in the United States. Listen to him talk. He talks like with an American accent. Why? He can't speak English now? Why? He can speak English. What? Because he's Spanish? Vince McMahon says, oh, he can't speak English. He has a Spanish last name. It's the most ridiculous thing. The guy speaks English fine. It's the most ridiculous shit. Anyway, they have to have Ray translate for him. It's going to make him look bad. But they talk about how he'll give Brock a matching scar on the other side of his face, which is true. Cain gave Brock that scar. Every time you look at Brock, it reminds him of that Cain fight. Jeez. And they show highlights. Fucking killed Brock Lesnar. He crushed him. New Day does the introduction. They show college football hosts. Now they have Matt Leinart, Brady Quinn, and Reggie Bush talking about their picks. This is awkward. I think Reggie Bush is a fan, though. Leinart and Quinn, I don't think so. Both average quarterbacks, by the way. So 2 average quarterbacks and one guy who fucked Kim Kardashian. So that's your panel. You have Big E, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston against the OC. So New Day gets the win. Kofi pins AJ, so after he gets killed in 8 seconds, he comes back with the win. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, before the match, you had the New Day bring out 2 women who survived breast cancer. It was a great moment. Xavier did a very good job on the mic. They gave them women's tag team titles. I liked it a lot. It was well done. It was a very well done segment. It was a feel-good moment of the show for sure. They show what happened with the Fiend and Seth Rollins, and Stephanie McMahon comes out. It's time for round 3. The first pick, Raw gets Alexa Bliss. Big surprise. I thought Alexa would be on SmackDown because she does draw ratings. I know that because I've heard from the quarter hours when she's on, she draws ratings. I thought Fox would want her, and they showed the Fox War Room pissed off that they didn't get Alexa Bliss. So it does make sense. Maybe they'll do a trade for her or something. They could do that, but yeah, Raw gets a big pick with Alexa here. I thought Alexa was for sure going to SmackDown. I guess her and Sasha are split up. They're probably going to be both happy because they hate each other in real life. Maybe that's why they have to split them up. They're probably fighting in backstage all the time. SmackDown gets Lacey Evans. Oh, bad loss. I mean, you had Raw gets Alexa, SmackDown gets Lacey. So Raw definitely gets the better of SmackDown there. One is a star, one is not there. But yeah, they're going to push Lacey Evans for sure on SmackDown. Raw gets Kevin Owens. That's fine. I think Kevin's better on SmackDown, but I don't think it matters too much. SmackDown keeps Revival, and Raw selects, and Stephanie tried to make it sound big, the Queen of Hearts, Natalya, and the crowd died. The Queen, Charlotte to Raw. No, it's Natalya. Who cares? Charlotte's in the back getting ready for her match against Bayley. Now we go to commercial. It's round 4. So here's what we get from round 4. Raw gets the Viking Raiders. SmackDown gets the Lucha House Party. Raw gets Nikki Cross, so Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross will remain a team. That's why they probably want them on Raw. They'll probably feud the Kabuki Warriors, probably. But I thought they would probably should split them up. I would put Alexa on SmackDown if it's me. I think she'd be better. I liked her so much better on SmackDown than on Raw. I think she'd be better there, but they went with her on Raw. SmackDown gets Heavy Machinery, and Raw gets the Street Profits. So they're actually going to wrestle this time. So they do the whole the analyst stuff. It sucks. Jay Glazer does the thing. He's fine. He actually works well there. They show a look at Tyson Fury. Bayley comes out, and so she is there for her match with Charlotte Flair, and this is your main event. So they have a very good match. This match, I have to say, blew away the match they had at Hell in a Cell. The match they had at Hell in a Cell, the match placement's terrible in the WWE pay-per-views. They put them right before the Hell in a Cell main event, and it was after Becky and Sasha had stole the show, and they had the Roman tag match, which was also really good. So it was a horrible spot to be in. They put them right before the main event, and it didn't work as well. But here they have a much better match. They had a well-done match. I enjoyed it. Bayley and Charlotte have good chemistry. I think of all the four horsewomen, the four combinations, we've seen Charlotte Sasha a million times. We've seen Charlotte Bayley a decent number of times. Charlotte Becky a billion times. We've seen Becky Sasha quite a bit now. They had them feud. We've seen Sasha Bayley a whole lot of times. The one combination we have not seen, and I'd like to see, is Bayley and Becky. We're not going to get that here because Bayley is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. I thought Bayley would lose and then go feud with Becky on Raw, but she beats Charlotte. She wins the title. She stuns her. It's a huge upset. I don't think anyone was expecting Bayley to get the belt. I think with Charlotte, they just want to give her Rick 16 title reign, so they're just going to give her like 1 week reigns. But she beats Charlotte. She loses to her, and then she wins it back 5 days later. Just to give her more title reigns. She's her new champion. So this is her third title reign overall, second SmackDown title. Actually, fourth title reign if you count the tag titles. So she gets on the mic and she calls everyone bitches and tells everyone to screw you. That is awesome. That's it. That's Bayley. It's Bayley, bitches. There needs to be a shirt. I'm going to buy that shirt. It's Bayley, bitches. That's fucking hilarious. So yes, this is the Bayley I want. She's full heel now. She's Bayley. It's Bayley, bitches. That's what we want. So, beats Charlotte, your new champion. It's Bayley. So I thought SmackDown was decent. I thought for a second week, good show. It wasn't going to be as big as the first week and have the big stars, but here it was a fun show. It was pretty enjoyable. So Bayley regains the title.